The Fairhope Public Library coming under fire recently from the Alabama Public Library Service, or APLS, which announced last week it was cutting state funding to the library because of what it called sexually explicit material being accessible to minors. Fox News has been following this story. Our Hal Sherrick meeting with the mayor in Fairhope today, who said the library board has received clear guidelines on how to follow.
Fairhope Library and city officials say they were blindsided last week by an announcement from the Alabama Public Library Service that their funding was being cut. The library began offering parental consent forms last year and moved material which had come under scrutiny from the youth section to the teen section of the library. Fairhope Mayor Sherry Sullivan says a conversation with APLS Chairman John Wall on Wednesday helped clear things up.
At this given point in time, we do have that clarification on what APLS feels is sexually explicit. The library board will have to decide if they are going to, review the books that were previously reviewed against those APLS guidelines, or if they choose to move books to an adult section.
The state defines a minor as being less than 18 years of age, so the books in question would need to be moved out of the teen section altogether. Wall says the new state code, which gives APLS enforcement authority over compliance, is designed to give parents the full authority over whether their child can or can't check out a book that may contain sexually explicit material. In an interview with Fox 10 News last week, Wall said there was no question the material presented fell into that category.
Let's not beat around the bush on this. If you read that material, it is clearly sexually explicit. There was no question. The material that was read to the board yesterday by concerned parents was horrifying. It was talking about things that I cannot talk about on camera. You could not play on TV.
If Fairhope was to not comply with APLS guidelines, they would forfeit about $40,000 in annual funding. A hit, yes, but a small enough amount that it could be made up through city or private funding. Sullivan says the bigger issue with noncompliance is the library's relationship with the county library system as a whole.
We want to comply. We want to make sure that we don't lose that county relationship. And again, we want people to have the access to the library that they want to have, and want their children to have access to the library that they want them to have.
Folks are divided on both sides of the issue. I spoke with some parents off camera who preferred not to be filmed, who said they don't believe obscene materials of any kind should have a place in a public library. Others believe moving these materials, which in some cases are award-winning books, to an adult section is unnecessary and would be done without a clear definition from APLS as to what constitutes material as sexually explicit.
What I understand is that Mr. Wall, Chairman Wall, has conveyed to our library leaders what he thinks sexually explicit is, but that definition is not backed up in legal code or in APLS policy. So I think it'll be unfortunate if our library takes action to move books based on erroneous information.
The state law does offer a definition for sexually explicit that is available for anyone who wants to research it, and would definitely have been something we would have been glad to provide to the library if they had asked.
With around 40 books in question and each of them needing their own independent review, it could take some time for that to happen. In the meantime, I'm told those books will likely remain on the teen shelves. Reporting in Fairhope, Hal Sherrick, Fox 10 News.